This is The Scoop for Monday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. Florida's largest Muslim civil rights and advocacy organization is calling for accountability after a 20-year-old American citizen who lived in Tampa was reportedly beaten to death by Israeli settlers in the occupied West Bank. The Florida chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations says in a news release that Sayfollah Musallet was born in Florida and raised in Port Charlotte. On Saturday, federal and state lawmakers visited the newly established migrant detention center in the Everglades. WLRN's Carlton Gillespie tells us what they saw.
After 2.5 hours inside the controversial makeshift facility with its temporary buildings and chain link enclosures, Democratic Congressman Maxwell Frost had this to say.
When I was in that facility looking at those cages, I saw young men who looked exactly like me. That's right. I saw myself in those cages.
Frost was one of the federal and state legislators to tour Alligator Alcatraz. Democratic representatives described harsh conditions, including showers with no privacy and bug-infested holding areas. Democratic Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, whose district spans much of Broward County, was blunt in her assessment.
This place needs to be shut the hell down.
Republican State Senator Blazin Goglia said claims of inhumane conditions were overblown, even saying the beds there were more comfortable than his own. His comments drew scoffs from other lawmakers present. Lawmakers vowed to return for unannounced oversight visits, calling their tour a, quote, sanitized version. I'm Carlton Gillespie in Okeechobee.
Students for a Democratic Society protested on Saturday against the Turning Point USA Student Action Summit in Tampa. WMNF's Leah Burdick reports emotions were high when counter-protesters arrived.
These border walls have got to go! From Palestine to Mexico, these border walls.
There were more than 50 participants who joined the student-led protest against TPUSA. TPUSA is a conservative organization, and some community members are not happy there in Tampa. Tensions quickly grew when counter-protesters were walking around the crowds in red apparel and Make America Great Again hats. Vicky Tong is with the Students for a Democratic Society, and she helped plan the protest.
So it's like a extremely far-right organization that has this agenda that's just extremely racist, sexist, homophobic, anti-immigrant. They're holding a student action summit here, and they're specifically targeting students and young people to try and get them to support this agenda.
Tong says they were able to gather multiple community organizations to help say no to the TPUSA agenda.
Turning Point USA is not welcome here. It doesn't reflect the majority of the opinions in the community.
The protest started peacefully outside City Hall, but when they got to the convention center, there were a few physical altercations. For WMNF News, I'm Leah Burdick in Tampa.
The old span of the Howard Franklin Bridge connecting Hillsborough and Pinellas counties is coming down. WMNF's Chris Young reports the demolition process for the bridge that was built in the 1960s began last week.
On a hot summer day, construction workers plug away at the demolition of the bridge. And David Alonzo, construction project manager for the Florida Department of Transportation, says they're doing it piece by piece.
So we're going to start at the center of the bridge, and we'll have two crews working in opposite directions towards the Hillsborough and the Pinellas side. So as you're driving, you'll start seeing this thing disappear from the middle going out.
Right now, the Howard Franklin Bridge consists of 3 spans. The newest one that was completed a few months ago, a newly renovated span, and the oldest of the 3 that's being demolished. On Wednesday, FDOT shifted traffic off of the doomed 60s bridge onto the former southbound span of the bridge built in the 90s. Officials expect the demolition to be completed spring of next year. They're also working on 4 express lanes on the Howard Franklin, as well as a path for pedestrians and bicyclists set to open early next year. Motorists are reminded to slow down, obey the posted speed limit, and remain alert for construction vehicles entering and exiting the active work zone. Chris Young, WMNF News, Tampa.
Thunderstorms are likely today with the potential for heavy rainfall. It'll be breezy with highs in the high 80s. Thunderstorms early tonight with overnight lows in the mid 70s, and heavy thunderstorms will develop tomorrow afternoon with highs in the high 80s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.